Kamala has been sent back in time to a pivotal moment in the history of both her family, and her culture. Plus, we meet the MCU's worst villain yet, turn-of-the-century British colonialists. This episode explores both the history of the partition and Kamala's own family. I'm Chris Goodmakers, and I'm here to continue to break down the premiere season of Ms. Marvel with the latest episode. Beware spoilers ahead. Who loves a good predestination paradox? Like Kyle Reese before her, Kamala is now responsible for retroactively protecting her own family line. Last episode, Najma attempted to plunge a dagger right into this 16-year-old girl's face. Yeah, I don't really feel that bad about her turning into a cartoon skeleton. Kamala rolled a dex saving throw and blocked it with her Kree bangle, but as a result, a rip in time and space opened and sent the young hero back to the violent exodus of Muslims to the newly created Pakistan. Why did this happen? Well, there are a few reasons, but one is far more subtle than the other. The obvious reason is that both Kamala and Aisha have worn the activated bangle and share a blood relation. In her dying moment, Aisha made a connection to Kamala and pulled her to that moment to help Sana. But why that exact moment? It's because of Najma's weapon. Her double-sided dagger is a preferred weapon because she has held onto it for decades. It's the same blade that she used to stab Aisha that then hits the bangle. It's even possible that there is still some minuscule amount of Aisha's blood on it. I know that's not scientifically accurate, but this is the MCU. Kamala isn't the only one with sparkle fingers now. Kamran, the teenage heartthrob, has some deep issues with his mother. It's not going to get any better now that she thrust a new set of superpowers on him. It's a good thing she turned into one of the skeletons from the end of Blade. Seriously, I thought Multiverse of Madness was the one directed by Sam Raimi.
Retreat! Retreat! Get the hell out of here!
Bad CGI aside, Cameron's new powers look pretty comic accurate. A first for this show. I haven't discussed it much in this series, but Cameron has appeared in the Ms. Marvel comic series. In the comic, he was affected by the Terrigen Mist the same night Kamala was, giving him energy-based powers. The show Cameron shares his gentle nature, but many things have been changed, including his powers' origins. The color of Cameron's new powers has remained comic accurate, but we'll have to wait for the finale to see if it covers his whole body, or if he retains the power to explode objects with his own kinetic energy, like a less annoying Gambit. Sorry Gambit stans, but you try reading this dialogue aloud.
Don't nobody trust Gambit? Eh?
We also learn in this episode that Kamala has more than just time travel to thank for her existence. While Kamala is off creating temporal paradoxes, her mother Maniba is reconnecting with Sana. After all the business with the cartoon skeletons... No, I won't leave it alone. Look at this!
Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine.
Anyway, the three generations of women are looking through some old photo albums. Sana talks about how her daughter ran away to America to follow Bruce Springsteen. Maniba corrects her that it was actually Bon Jovi. We learned back in episode 2 that Maniba and Yusuf met because of their shared love of Bon Jovi.
If it wasn't for Slippery When Wet, your father and I may never have met.
That was gross.
That would be the third studio album from the New Jersey-based rock band, by the way. Their love of Bon Jovi is also why Yusuf hires the cover band Brown Jovi for his son's wedding. Maybe instead of a Captain Marvel cameo, we'll get one from the singer of It's My Life. Kamala is still piecing together her outfit, and she gets a few more pieces of the puzzle this episode. When her mother finds her broken necklace, it's in the familiar shape of Ms. Marvel's iconic symbol. When they truncated Carol Danvers' origin in Captain Marvel, they skipped right over her long history as Ms. Marvel. Since her Captain Marvel outfit never had the distinctive yellow S of her old outfits, it means Kamala needs a reason to make it her own. Since it's in Maniba's hands this episode, I expect it will be her idea to add it as a final touch to Kamala's new costume. Kamala also receives the long red scarf from Kareem. Hey, didn't I say something about that last episode? Well, that leads me to my next section. It's now time for the best part of any video. Now's the part where we review things that I was right about. Well, first is the aforementioned scarf, which last episode I theorized would be added to Kamala's supersuit via the newly introduced red daggers. Now that Kareem has handed her the long red accessory, she will undoubtedly add it to her completed look. I was also right back in episode 2 when I postulated that we would get a first-hand look at the fateful night at the train station. That's the case this episode with Kamala finding herself right in the middle of the chaos. So how did I know these things? Do I have powers beyond those of mortal man? Or did I just have to rewatch each episode multiple times to make these videos? What I was actually picking up on was foreshadowing. There have been lots of hints and little details that have popped up over the course of the season that are now starting to come to fruition. With next week's finale, I'm sure I will discuss many of these further, but for now, let's look at one specific moment. When Kamala first put on the bangle, she had a vision of a ghostly train station. We learned an episode later that this was probably the night her grandmother left for Karachi. But was this actually just a vision? Or was it something more? It was actually the bangle attempting to pull Kamala into the past. Each time Kamala has a vision, she is actually strengthening her connection to Aisha. The first is the train station, but it only lasts for a moment. The other two visions are stronger. First is the train barreling down on Kamala. It's the same train that she will find herself in front of when she is thrown back in time. Finally, there's the vision of Najma. She's dressed in the same outfit that she was when they first found the bangle. In the vision, she is reaching out, but not for Kamala. This vision is a warning. Najma is reaching for the bangle as she is reaching towards Aisha. It's not a problem anymore though, because of the skeleton. The last moments of the episode cut back stateside to find Cameron running to the last potential friend he has left in Brian.
Bruno.
Genuinely thought your name was Brian this whole time.
When he approaches Bruno, it's while he's taking out the trash. It's a dirty, graffiti-filled alleyway, but one piece of graffiti sticks out. The word hero is written just to the left of Bruno in the frame, a subtle nod to Bruno's bravery and moral nature. It's another small bit of foreshadowing of him helping Kamran and aiding Kamala. In the comics, Bruno doesn't necessarily become a superhero himself, but he still does a lot. He has a genius-level intellect and knowledge of technology on par with Tony Stark. He develops a new polymer for Kamala's suit, and later moves to Wakanda to study advanced technology. Show Bruno still has a lot to accomplish before he's spoken of in the same sentence as Tony Stark, unless that sentence is, Bruno just crashed his bike into the Tony Stark Memorial. Miss Marvel may have superpowered teenagers and evil multi-dimensional clans, but episode 4 reveals what the show is really about. Intergenerational trauma has been a hot topic in film and television for a few years now. Encanto and Turning Red explored it in film, and HBO's Watchmen brought it to the superhero genre. Now it's the MCU's turn as the depths of Kamala's family history is revealed. The partition separated Aisha and her family from their home, and Najma separated Sana from Aisha. That night, Sana saw something she couldn't explain. She continued to believe in amazing things her whole life. Her daughter, Maniba, ended up going the other way, and shutting herself off to the idea that there was something special about her family. Maniba then tried to force a sense of normalcy and expectation on Kamala. This caused her to rebel and look to independent female hero figures like Captain Marvel. Actions taken long before she was born set Kamala on the path to being a hero. At the end of the episode, Kamala, Maniba, and Sana all connect. There is now nothing hidden between them, and they all have a larger understanding of each other. Plus, we learn that Amir isn't the only one with an embarrassing past fashion sense.
It wasn't a goth phase.
Oh, yeah.
We also learn about Kamala's delightful grandmother in this episode. We see her parents meet and begin to raise her. We then see her as a toffee-loving old lady in the last few episodes. She's also a reference to Kamala Khan's co-creator. While G. Willow Wilson ended up sharing a name with the high school guidance counselor, Sana Amanat fared better. Amanat is a longtime creator and editor at Marvel Comics. She developed the character with Wilson and Alfona during her concept and design stages. A Pakistani American herself, she now serves as a top executive on Marvel's publication side. Her executive clout is probably why she ended up with a more important character named after her. Sorry, but Mr. Wilson hasn't really contributed to the plot, except by just being delightfully funny. Next week is the final episode of Miss Marvel, and it will be the last time we see Kamala before her theatrical debut in The Marvels. Now that Kamran is on the run and the Circle Q is destroyed, Kamala is going to be returning to America like she's Troy in that scene from Community. I guess that would make Agent Cleary the wooden troll. I also return next week for the final time in my Miss Marvel breakdowns, but until then, viewer, kick back and put on some Slippery When Wet.